welcome back to the Juice Run podcast. I am your host, Keywan Moses, the Juice Master himself, and you are tuning in to the Houston Takeover. We're reporting live from Houston, Texas, downtown to be exact. It's my birthday weekend. Today is my actual birthday. We're recording this episode on January 24th, my born day. So I'm elated to be working, to be productive, and creating on my born day. The kid is 32 today, man. Kid turned a full 32 years old, a whole 32 piece. It's the Magic Johnson year before the AIDS. Anyway, had to say it. The Magic Johnson year, the legendary year, the one that we just continue the juice run going, man. My mom Dukes asked, like, how does it feel? How do you feel to be 32? And I feel old and accomplished. Old in a sense because a lot of times, depending on how fast I get up, my knees start to talk. My knees crack, snap, crackle, and pop. You know what I mean? So, like, I feel old in that sense. Like, whew, my knee be like, hold on, take time getting up in and out. My knees are talking. So, old but accomplished in a sense that starting off the year with a bang, we jump-started this podcast platform this year, 2026. I had been fostering the idea and brainstorming about creating this podcast for a while, for years, and then more so recently, I say the past 2-3 months of 2025, I was thinking about putting together and hoping that things can materialize, and reached out to my pops who had offered to invest in the podcast space for me years ago, but I wasn't in the headspace to like commit to it. And now it's like my creative juices are flowing, and I'm excited to take what I'm doing to another level. So, like, took my pops up on it. He was able to contribute and buy everything on my little Amazon list, man, and invested in what I'm doing, man. So thank you to him, and thank you to both my parents. And shout out to me. I want to thank me. I want to thank my mom. I want to thank Pops, but I want to thank me. It's in the past, I've always like just focused on turning up and doing exactly what I wanted for my birthday, whether it be eat what I want, do what I want, kick it where I want. It's all about me. It's all about you, ain't it? But these past couple years, I say the past 3 years, I've been more so focused on being productive for my birthday and just creating, man, just creating and making moments and just remaining humble and hungry in what I'm doing. It's like I'm not too good to work on my birthday. I used to always look at myself like as royalty, like what I look like putting in work on my birthday. Like actually a great individual. So like I'm glad that I am able to work out my passions and do what I love on my born day. It is an honor and privilege to be here before you. Like I said, reporting here from H-Town. Very honored to be here. Shout out to 2A1. You dig. Yeah, man. This is the middle of the winter storm. Shout out Mother Nature. I feel like she has something against me personally this weekend. It was like the first like real storm of this past year, and it was on my birthday weekend. We here had a show at the Secret Group last night that went great. Have another show tonight at 7. The show tomorrow at the Punchline was postponed due to weather. Supposed to get cold. Supposed to get like 32, 33 degrees. And people are shaking in their boots down here. I'm from the Midwest. I'm from Wichita, Kansas. So none of this scares me. I'm used to it. I know how to drive. Learn how to drive in the snow, rain, sleet, or snow. Most of these cars now, they will tell you if your tire is losing traction. Just drive like you got some sense, man, and get to where you need to go and get out the way. Pre-plan. It's not hard. It's not rocket science. But absolutely. We have the Juice Run podcast here. Comedian, actor, podcaster, man of many talents, many presidents. 32 years on this planet. Um, I want to talk about just what I've learned, just what I've learned a lot about masculinity and communicating your masculinity in the right way. That's more so what I want to talk about today. That's the reflective aspect of what I'm doing is that understanding what to communicate and how to communicate and what represents a true masculine figure. First and foremost is understanding your purpose as a masculine figure. Your purpose is to protect and provide. Protection and provision. Protection and provision. Making a woman feel safe, making your loved ones feel safe in who they are and where they are, making them feel seen. That goes back to security and protection. Making them feel heard. That also goes back to protection as well. Not just physically protection, like protecting them from harm, but protecting them from anxiety, protecting them from fear, and make them feel safe and seen and heard to be themselves and express themselves and share like the load of the stress that goes and being able to lean on you and depend on you and you being in that position to do that. And you provide not just food and shelter, but you provide that insight, you provide that logic, provide that stability, you provide accountability, you provide boundaries, you provide consistency. All those things fall under the guise of provision as well. Understanding your purpose and understanding what works. I'm in a very pivotal aspect of my life in how I conduct myself and how I show my love and how I represent myself. Shout out Jill Scott, the lovely Jill Scott, who was on Angie Martinez's podcast. And she said she considers herself a dominant submissive. She's talking about like submissions and dominant and like what she needs to feel safe in submitting to a man. She said, I need a man that's fair, firm, and consistent. That's what she said. Fair, firm, and consistent. And that spoke volumes to me because I'm heavily influenced by Jill in my artistic aspect, and she's such a pure artist. But in the love making aspect as well, I was taking notes in '07 and '09, all over the years, going and looking and referencing her tracks. I'm like, oh, okay, you do that for that many minutes. Okay, take time. Don't just mindlessly thrust away. Make sure they are purified pumps. You know what I'm saying? Make sure your pumps have power, passion, persistence. Make sure your pumps got some substance. Give us some substantial pumps. You're not just pumping for her. You're pumping for her heart, pumping for her mind, pumping for her well-being. Don't just mindlessly pump. It's power in them pumps. So take time to be punctual and proper with the pumps. Shout out Jilly from Philly. And on my journey, I love that I can represent and embody those things. It's like fair, firm, and consistent. That's how I like to consider. That's how I view myself. That's the representation of what I exude in everything that I do. Fair in being sense that I lead by example, but I hold those accountable around me. Those who I love, those who I care about, those who I do business with, anybody who I engage with, hold them accountable. But without being cruel though. It's a tightrope. Don't be rude. Don't be an asshole with your accountability. You know what I'm saying? Still got to have some empathy in there, you know, especially if somebody is making a mistake that you've made in the past, you're familiar with in the past, make sure to keep that empathy as well. So keeping that balance, because I'm a big empath, but I'm also big on holding people accountable as well, especially the ones I love. There's that. Fair. All that goes under fair. Firm. Boundaries. Big, real big on boundaries, okay? Boundaries in the sense of the one big thing about boundaries is knowing where your boundaries are starting out. Knowing your boundaries out the gate. Those are pivotal game changers in what we do because a lot of people don't know their boundaries, so they can't name them and negotiate them. Knowing what you will boundaries in the sense of knowing what I'm going to tolerate. knowing what type of tone I'm gonna tolerate, knowing what I will and will not deal with in a relationship or partnership, anything that I'm doing, naming those clearly up front, letting them know what it is, and if they violate or cross those boundaries, then you cut those ties or you step away in whatever aspect you need to do. But you make sure you stand on business in what you do, because you got to believe people and who they are. If they show you who they are, you got to believe them. But that is a big aspect as well. So all that goes under firm. Excuse me. All that goes under firm. Being firm boundaries, upholding those boundaries, communicating them, and upholding them when they are not respected, and being able to sever those ties. And it's a lot easier to cut ties with somebody when you let them know the boundaries early, because most people, they don't take a lot of time to cross your boundaries. They usually do them pretty fast. So if they do it fast, that's the less amount of investment that you've had in the engagement. So it's so much easier to cut it off. But say you've had this bond for a long time and there's new boundaries that came, that's fine. But you got to have the willpower to stand up and stand on business and truly be firm in that aspect. It's like, no, I'm not tolerating this. Not so much for you, not so much for that person, but for you. Not so much for them, but it's so much for you. It's for your sanity and your solace and what you're dealing with, so you can continue to be the best person. And last but not least, consistent. Being consistent. Be consistent with your lady. Be consistent with your routine. Be consistent with your orgasms. Be consistent with your routine. Be consistent with those orgasms that you provide as well. Now, if you don't know how to give your woman an orgasm, this ain't the podcast for you. This is not for you. Got to go. I don't know. We could do a TED talk after this, so like, we have a separate discussion. But consistency in your routine and what you do, where you go, what you like, your hobbies, etc. Upholding those, upholding what you do and what you don't do, and pursuing. Like, consistency has a lot to do with what you pursue and what you manifest, what's important to you. Being consistent with them, because if they know that you're consistent in what you do and who you are to them, that'll make them feel safe enough to submit. And you want all men, I feel like you should want your woman to be submissive. Everybody wants their woman to submit to them in some way, shape, or form, but you got to earn it. You got to make them feel safe. But once you capture those abilities to make them submit, make them feel comfortable with submitting, easy like Sunday morning. It's a red velvet cake with cream frosting with raspberries on top. It's immaculate when you make them feel safe enough to do so. It's an absolute game changer. The floodgates come in. It's such a beautiful thing. But yeah, Jilly from Philly said that. Shout out Jilly. Her new album comes out February 13th. We in Aquarius season. It's officially Aquarius season. And her album comes out in Aquarius season. My fellow Aquarian J. Cole, his album, The Fall Off, comes out also in Aquarius season, February 6th. February, we got some bangers coming. We got J. Cole on the 6th of February. And we got Jilly from Philly dropping her first album in 10 years, For Whom This May Concern, on February 13th. So shout out both of them. Those are huge inspirations to me. Jill, you've been an incredible inspiration. I've been watching your press run and interview with Angie, interview with the R&B podcast with Tank and Jay Valentine. Shout out my other brothers. Happy belated birthday to Tank. He just turned 50. Shout out Homeboy as well. Darrell, the world-renowned singer and actor on Broadway, if you will. Shout out Tank. But yeah, shout out Jill. Love you down. What you represent, what you exude, and you educate. You deserve a Pulitzer Prize, Nobel Peace Prize for the knowledge that you give not only the women, but the men if they pay attention. You dig? So shout out Jilly from Philly. The two tracks that you allowing us to listen to, Pressure, and I forget the other joint that she's like teasing for the album, immaculate. Love the production on it. It's crazy. Can't wait for the whole album. Um, J. Cole, beef, and my personal feelings aside, excited for this album. The rewind joint that he did was like disc 2, track 2, whatever. It was pretty good. That was the homage to Nas's Rewind on the Stillmatic album, I believe. And Rewind wasn't one of my favorite Nas songs, and definitely wasn't my favorite song on that album. But whatever. J. Cole is in the lane of his own. He marched to the beats of his own drum, so you got to respect that. You got to respect his consistency. You got to respect what he's done, his contribution to hip-hop. Absolutely. What we can learn from Cole is commitment. Is commit to whatever side of the fence you're going to be on. That's what I can learn. You know, Cole get a lot of flack for the whole Drake and Kendrick beef, if you will. It's very light-skinned of him to have stutter, step, and pump fake in that situation. But it is what it is. Can't change what happened. But what I learned from that is commitment, man. Whoever you rolling with, if I'm rolling with you and you my partner, you get into a situation, I'm in that situation. And I'm making that decision right then. I'm not going cut corners or renege. That's why people end up like in the game of spades. That's why people end up getting hurt because of reneging. If you ever play spades with a black family, you know it's some dangerous shit. But you can't renege. If we step out and I step to the square, we got to handle business. We got to get down. Win, lose, or draw, I got to do that. But I can't be like, nah, I didn't know you was going to fight. Like, nah, you got to commit to whatever you're doing. Or let your partner know up front, hey, this ain't got nothing to do with me. It's between you and you. Especially if it's fair, if it's one-on-one. If it's like it was Kendrick and Drake, that's man on man. You either going to commit to trying to jump Kendrick lyrically, or you going to let your partner, your comrades battle this out amongst themselves because it ain't got shit to do with you. That's what you should have did. And that's the way I live my life too. That's how I was raised. And that's how any standard honorable person should conduct themselves. Whatever you doing, especially family too. Family is different. They're not family, but friends. If we together and there's an issue, it's my responsibility to make sure you get home because I expect the same thing out of you. I got to make sure you safe. Because you're supposed to make sure I'm safe. That's common courtesy with anybody you rock with that you take time out of your life to be with. So the way that he half-stepped, J. Cole did that, I lost a lot of respect for Cole. I was already not fooling with Drake a year prior to that because them niggas had a concert. Is for the, I forget whatever tour that was, that Drake and Cole was on together recently. It was going in 2023 into 24. Them niggas had a date in San Antonio. Was going to be on. It was originally on January 28th, which is Cole's birthday, by the way. My fellow Aquarian. It was 4 days after my 30th birthday. It's going to be in San Antonio. And as luck would have it, Drake had to push and reschedule the whole concert because this motherfucker sprained his ankle playing ball, is what I heard. Sprained his ankle playing ball. He don't know ball. He's not a ball player. And he ain't got that dog in him because if you was really about it, you would have rolled your ass out there on the wheelchair, marketing, correlation, Degrassi, Jimmy. If you was really a creative and marketer and really about that life and really committed to giving the crowd, you know what I'm saying, some real entertainment, you would have rolled your light-skinned ass out there on the wheelchair. Or maybe just not play aggressive street ball in the sense when you are literally on tour and millions of people are waiting to come see you. So when that happened, when I found out his goofy non-ball playing ass was the reason why that concert had to be rescheduled, I was done with Drizzy after that. Was completely done. The only reason why I really wanted to go on the tour was because Cole was on there. I had never seen Cole or Drake in concert, so I was excited to see. I rescheduled. I got my refund back. It was $1,900. I paid a stack for that, and he fucked it up. They rescheduled it to March, but I didn't turn 30 in March. I turned 30 in January, so it was gonna be our night. It was gonna be a night for all three of us. Super pause. Cole, Drake, and me in San Antonio at the Frost for my birthday and his birthday. It's gonna be on Cole's birthday, 4 days after. Whatever. That's personal. That's personal. Let that go. Forgiveness, commitment. Cole had reneged on participating in the beef. I think it was the Dreamville Festival, and just the dumbest shit in the world. It was so sad. And then he literally manifested him falling off by saying the last time was gonna be called the fall off. That's not a good omen. That's not a good name. Like, if you know, those of you who went to church, say you have the power of life and death in the tongue. What you say carries the power of life and the power of death. So if you keep saying, "Oh, this last time gonna be the fall off," it's the fall off. We showcasing the fall off, and you do stupid shit like that, called the fall off, and eventually make yourself fall off. It's like, damn, bro, I fuck with you. You didn't have to go out like that. You could have went out way more honorable. Could have kept your damn mouth shut. Or if you was going to engage, and even if you lost, we still could give you that respect that you lost like a man. Neither here nor there, whatever. All of that aside, excited for the Fall Off that comes out February 6th. It looks like it's going to be a double album. Excited for that for Cole. Excited to hear the music. Whatever. More excited for Jill. There's that. What else is going on in the world? What's going on? The only ice we acknowledge is horchata. The only ice we acknowledge is horchata. You dig? Do not fuck with ICE, immigration, goofy motherfuckers. R.I.P. Miss Renee Good, and prayers to her family. Condolences to all the people who suffered oppression and violence and death from ICE, because it's completely unnecessary. It's completely divided. It's the dumbest shit in the world. Shout out my Hispanic community, my Latino community, legal or illegal. I don't give a damn. Shout out to y'all, especially my real ones who are out here contributing positively to society. Because one thing a lot of people don't understand is some illegal immigrants who are contributing stronger and more positive to the community than niggas who are legal. And I don't just mean black people. I mean, I'm using niggas as a noun, excuse me. All them people who were born here. There's some illegal immigrants who contribute more positively to the community than some people who were actually born here. So, and that's always been the case. Every country, especially the United States, has always dealt with immigration. So to do this division and the contradictory of our commander-in-chief being a collector of immigrants with his wife and with current first lady and previous ex-wife, he keep a foreign with him. So the hypocrisy for you to have any vendetta against any immigrant is the most selective, hypocritical shit I've ever dealt with in his life. Personally, I think a Latina broke Trump's heart. I think there was a badass, fine-ass, unnamed mystery Latina who broke Donald Trump's heart in 83 or 73 or 53, whatever. You know that motherfucker old. Whatever year it was, there was a Latina. There was a lovely Latina who broke Trump's heart once upon a time, and he has had a personal vendetta ever since then. Can you imagine, like, your a op that got one over on you, broke your heart, you end up running the whole country, and you a petty son of a bitch, and you haven't actually forgiven them? Oh, are you in trouble? Your op is in trouble at that point because it seems personal, and he loves immigrants. So I'm thinking, what is his issue with Latinos? He must have had, I think a Latino broke his heart. Join the club, Trump. Suck it up, dude. Suck it up. That's what they do sometimes. If you're not careful, they'll break your fucking heart. Let it go. I'm almost certain that is what happened. That's my conspiracy. A Latino broke Trump's heart, and he is making them people pay for it every chance he gets. But whatever. Get out and vote. If that ain't taught you nothing, get out and fucking vote. and vote correctly and nominate the right people and have the right people in your community, in your district, in your Senate, etc. Get out and vote. Because in order to conquer something, you got to divide it. And that we are in a state of division in this country. That is what is going on. That's my soapbox for that. I think he's still heartbroken. And a Latina did it. That's why he's trying to deport people that be minding their business. Anyway, happy birthday to me. Happy birthday. Feliz cumpleaños a mí. Hablo español también. Estoy aprendiendo más español todos los días. Me encanto español. I can sing and I love to speak Spanish. I love the culture. I love tacos. Shout out Las Trancas, the food truck company in Austin, Texas. Shout out Las Trancas. Shout out Selma Hayek. And shout out Selma Hayek, period. But Selma Hayek in From Dusk Till Dawn before she turned into the vampire. And Selma Hayek in Desperado. Front to back. Desperado, Selma Hayek. That's the one who did it for me. That's when I was, got to give me one of those since I was 4 years old. That one right there. Sofia Vergara in Soul Plane. That's Sofia Vergara in Soul Plane. Not Sofia Vergara ahora. Sofia Vergara in 2004. Soul Plane con Kevin Hart. Sofia Vergara. Remember she was like, I dated a pilot. I used to date this pilot. We made love in the cockpit. And she was like trying to teach them how to land the plane with doing like sexual positions. That was good. Sofia Vergara, shout out to you. The 2004 Sofia Vergara. Moving on. In Houston, man. Yeah, man. Everybody's checking in their boots about this winter storm. It's dumb. But I'll be back. I'll definitely be back out here. I love it out here. Oh, hit up Urban Smoke. Shout out Urban Smoke. Shout out Urban Smoke, the Cigar Lounge, Urban Smoke. We will be there right following this episode. We're going to wrap up as soon as we can get to Urban Smoke because Urban Smoke be lit. I think we're going to go before my show and we're going to come back after my show for Shiggity. Black-owned business, beautiful black women on the staff. Walking around with torches, lighting your cigars, banging your drinks. It's a beautiful thing. Shout out Urban Smoke. There's that. Shout out Urban Smoke, black business out here in H-Town. I think they're on Richmond Ave, Urban Smoke and Urban Social. Shout out to staff, DJ, the ambiance of that place. It is immaculate. That is where we would be. Those are the people, and it's nothing like the irony of a black woman introducing me to the V cutter. Cigars, they have cutters. There's the guillotine, there's the regular, there's the hole punch was the guillotine, then there's the V cut. The V cut cigar cutter, and it's like the way it cuts your cigar, it's like the little lovely vaginal opening V. I don't know. I'm almost certain the V comes from vagina on the V cut. But anyway, my favorite cut now, favorite way to cut cigars is the V cut. Gives you a stronger pull. Gives you a stronger pull on the heat to burn in the consistency of the cigar. I'm a cigar aficionado. Shout out Urban Smoke. Shout out the lovely black woman who introduced me to the V cut. It is a game changer. That is the favorite way I like to cut my cigars. Unless it's a torpedo, then you got to do the regular. But I'm a cigar aficionado as well. Shout out Urban Smoke. Yes, indeed. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the Juice Run podcast, man. I believe that was all I really had right now. That's all I can think of at the moment. Check me out for any other updates on my social medias. It is KMO Jokes on all social media platforms. For exclusive podcast content in totality, long form will remain here on YouTube, the YouTube channel for the Juice Run podcast. But for me, host, stand-up dates, acting dates, movies, plays, etc., Check out social media, all of the interviews, etc. Check out my social medias, KMO Jokes on everything. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, KMO Jokes on everything. Um, so happy to be taking over Houston and doing my thizzle out here. We're going to continue to rocking and rolling. Happy birthday to me. Thank you all so much for tuning in. As I said before, this is Keywan Moses, the Juice Master. And I thank you all so much for tuning in. And many, many more to come. This is episode 5. And many more to come. Season 1, episode 5. Thank y'all so much. Live from Houston. Season 1, episode 5, live from Houston, Texas. You dig. And I believe that is all. Well, no. Actually, I got to do a question from the juice jar. Excuse me. Sorry. I got to do a pull from the juice jar myself. Let's see what we got here. What is your level of success? What is your level of success? My shout out Roderick and condolence. I don't want to say condolences. Shout out Roderick. He's alive, excuse me. But Roderick wrote that question. What is your level of success? Roderick had what seems to be a mini stroke. Seems to be okay because he's saying send him titty pics, lovely ladies. He don't discriminate, black, white, Latino, yellow, brown titties. Send them titties. But I think he had a mini stroke. So send love and prayers out to Roderick. He wrote that question. That's his handwriting. What is your level of success? My level of success is doing comedy and entertainment full time, making 6 figures at the absolute least, and that is solely $100,000 after tax. After taxes, if I'm making $100,000, I'm good with that. That's 6 figures, baby. My own home that I own or am mortgaging, and they're able to pay it with my comedy. And my would be having my own platforms that I have the autonomy to create and distribute on my own. Having my own platforms to do so. Like this podcast, for example, comedy dates, producing films, producing plays, just having that control of my own productions and my own LLCs to do and produce how I want, so I can express that, and that just yields other opportunities. And then the money and success that comes with that is everything that I need. Having the motion, having the juice to create my own shows, my own film, my own podcast, all of my own, and making at least 6 figures after tax. And my mom is able to get whatever shoes or bags she want. All her bills is paid. She living how she want to live. Continue to spoil her and spoil baby sis and spoil my niece. That's success for me, baby. That is absolutely it. And not so much waiting for opportunities and being in a perfect position to create my own. That is my level of success. Whatever that is, whatever that looks like, but to being able to create on my own and not waiting for nobody to do it for me, that is my level of success. And we getting there, baby. I'm so excited to be getting there and to be manifesting it. And thank you all for tuning into yet another episode of the Juice Run Podcast. I'm your host, Keywan Moses, the Juice Master, signing off. Thank you. Drive safe.